Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the garage, or as you may see, a different garage. Anyways, sorry I haven't been posting a lot has been going on. First of all and foremost, as you can see, we're in a different garage. Currently, the house that I moved into is getting renovated. That is including the garage, so I had to move this huge piece of junk out of the garage with no motor, tow it to my friend's house, which thankfully he's letting me use his garage to finish this project up and get it all my stuff and tools and the car and parts over here so we can finish building this car. So that took a while and a lot of unnecessary work that I wish I really didn't have to do, but whatever, it's life. Anyways, we got a new garage for the time being so we can finish this car. We got all our parts in. By the way, don't order parts during the holidays because every company takes their sweet time to ship everything out because of the holidays, and they use that as an excuse. So it's better not to order anything until the holidays are over, because I literally ordered everything with like 2 to 3 days shipping, and it took like 2 to 3 weeks for it to get here. So waste of money there, just an FYI tip. But like I said, all our parts are here. The car's here. We're gonna give a whole rundown on all those goodies. I think last where I left you guys off, we had the heads off, and I was gonna start moving into the cam. As you can see, the surfaces are clean, pistons are clean to my best ability. I got both sides cleaned. This took so much elbow grease and time. Don't recommend cleaning your pistons, just whatever. Just clean the surfaces so that they can be nice and prepped for the head gaskets. Just leave the pistons there, because I spent way too much cleaning these pistons, and I didn't even get all the carbon buildup off of them. But they do look nice and pretty, yada yada. Anyways, let's go ahead and get this build breakdown. So first and foremost, as you guys can see, my heads are freaking back. I went with West Coast cylinder heads because when you spec'd out the heads between American Heritage Performance and WCCH, with the porting, the valve springs, the assembly, all that stuff, it ended up being that West Coast cylinder heads was cheaper at the end when you added porting. If you just want to get your valve guides fixed, I think American Heritage Performance AHP is cheaper. But of course, you know me, I'm trying to get some horsepower out of this, so I went with the porting and valve spring package. And it's been noted and documented that WCCH porting service is probably top notch, if not the best out there. So I went with their full stage 2 spec'd out cylinder head package. So nonetheless, let's get these things checked out. As you can see, we got my freaking cylinder heads all worked up, looking nice and pretty. We reused the intake like everyone does. They get tumble polished and cleaned, and then resurfaced and seated to the heads. And then we also get brand new stainless steel ferrule valves. The thing about these are actually solid instead of hollow, like they come from the factory from GM, which makes sense. I wish I had one. I'll go over it later, but GM uses hollow exhaust valves, and they're actually friction welded, so you can see where the actual stem of the valve and the actual valve are met with friction weld, and that's where they tend to break. When I took these to WCCH, we talked for like pretty much a good hour and a half about the problems that these cars have with these heads and what they do to fix it. Long story short, guys, every reworked LS7 head will have valve guide wear again. It's just a wear item on these motors. They create a lot of heat, they produce a lot of power, and heat and power wears out items. So with that being said, no matter where you take them, even aftermarket heads like Brodox or AFR, those aftermarket heads will have valve guide issues and wear. So it's just something to look after, and always keep in mind. So as you can see, I went with bronze valve guides. And the thing about bronze is, like a lot of people say, if you're gonna go with bronze, you get roller rockers in the future. That is probably an upgrade I'm gonna be doing. But there's a big controversy of whether to use bronze versus powder metal. Like I said, this is a wear item. It's gonna wear regardless of what material you use. So I went with bronze because these actually have a 1-year warranty from WCCH. They said if, you know, from a year of the purchase date, they are out of spec, just send them back and they'll get it redone. Which is something I can sleep well at night knowing that my heads are actually warranted by them. So if, you know, I check them down the line and they're out of spec, you know, ship them back off to them so they can get reworked. But the thing to note is that because these are, not hollow, they're actually solid stainless steel exhaust valves, even if the valve guides gets worn out, I will never have the catastrophic failure of dropping a valve. No matter how worn they will get, it will never drop a valve. So that's a huge, you know, freaking relief and peace of mind that I will have, that even if, you know, I drive this car for the next 50,000 miles, yeah, the valve train might be noisy, meaning, you know, there's probably wear in the valve guide, but that valve will stay in its place, never dropping into the cylinder and causing a huge catastrophic failure. So that's another thing why I went with these guys, because they've been doing this for years and none of their reworked heads have actually dropped the valve. Yeah, they may be out of spec later on that I can live with, but a catastrophic failure, that won't happen again. But nonetheless, that's why I went with them. Not only because their porting polish is the best, their price, when spec'd out, it's the cheapest around me. So let's go ahead and keep looking into the valves. I mean, the heads. So I talked about the intake valves being reused, tumble polished, stainless steel solid exhaust valves. I believe they milled my heads 15 thou or 20 thou, one of those, because they spec'd it out to the cam that I have over there, and I'll get into that later. And so that, I think that bumps the compression up as well on these bad boys. But anyways, let's look at here. As you can see, the beautiful CNC polish on these exhaust ports. Also to note, LS7 comes with a D-shaped exhaust port. As you can see, they actually rounded it out and ovaled it out, creating more volume. So that's also something to note. All of them are looking fabulous. And then of course they don't stop there. They also do the intake. So all these are CNC 5-axis, you know, ported and polished. Then for the valve springs, we went with BTR dual valve springs and retainers. All of them, of course, finishing off with titanium retainers on top. This is for a these are good enough for a 660 lift on the cam, which is exactly where I'm at, so I went with those. And what else about them? Yeah, they also did this. I'm not sure what this is all about, but sure, that looks fancy and nice. And yeah, again, these are the reworked heads and pretty much the centerpiece of my build right now. Hoping for big things from these heads, as they are going to never be seen again in all their glory. Next, what else can we talk about? Oh yeah, so this is the rest of the parts for my, this is what I recommend you guys doing if you guys are doing a head and combo package, head and cam combo package, because once all this stuff is out, it's easier to do it now than down the road. So anyways, we're gonna go ahead and replace our timing chain cover gasket. We're also gonna replace the timing cover front seal, water pump gaskets. We're also gonna replace our valve cover gasket with the bolt gaskets. Of course, Fail Pro, because they're gonna be replaced anyways. Just kidding. And then, good time to go ahead and change your timing chain. I went with a K-Tech. These are, I guess, the C5R. So they're a performance version of a timing chain. Also a brand new timing chain tensioner. Of course, ARP, crank pulley bolt, since the OEM one is only a one-time use. Then we also went with ARP Cam Bolts. We went with ARP head studs. Brand new intake manifold gaskets. We went with, oh, this is probably important to always use. This is a Sac City Corvette alignment tool for this gasket that goes on the timing cover, because apparently these timing covers are very sensitive and finicky when installing. If you don't get it perfectly centered, they will leak, so this is like a good tool to have just to install it. What else? Brand new LS7 lifters with lifter trays. Brand new LS7 head gasket, MLS multi-layer steel gasket. And of course, our also section, part 2 centerpiece. This is a RPM B3 cam, so that bad boy will be making a lot of jam with those heads. These are probably one of the best NA cams you can get. Luckily, one of my friends parted out his vet, had like 1,500 miles on that cam, and I took it. So, hoping for a lot of chop and big numbers for that thing. What else? Oh, also, good idea to upgrade your rocker touring upgrade. This gets rid of those needle bearings in your rocker arms that love to fall off with high lift cams. I'll be making a separate video about this, but dude, these are pretty and quite expensive. But yeah, that's the, I guess you would want to call it phase 1 complete build list. Oh, also that big box, but I'll get into that later in this video. All this stuff is probably gonna go on today, so we can just get chugging along. Sorry for the lack of video, guys, been busy, but here's the parts update, and now the videos will start coming out as I install all this goodies into this motor. Can't wait to get this vet back on the road. Been missing it for a while. I've been driving it, been driving all these slow dailies like Camrys, but she's coming back, boys, she's coming back. So, have a good one, catch you on the next one, and keep boosting, even though I'm NA now.